Why consistency beats big motivation. Most people are waiting to feel motivated before they start. They are waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect time, the perfect energy, the perfect version of themselves. They tell themselves, when I feel ready, I will begin. But that is the trap. Because motivation is powerful, but it is not reliable. Motivation can help you start, but consistency is what helps you continue. And the truth is, most people do not fail because they have no dreams. They fail because they only work on their dreams when they feel motivated. They start strong. They buy the notebook. They make the plan. They watch the videos. They tell themselves, this time I am serious. For a few days, everything feels exciting. They wake up with energy. They imagine the better body, the better business, the better mindset, the better life. They feel like everything is about to change. But then, real life happens. They get tired. They get distracted. They get discouraged. The results do not come as fast as they expected. The excitement begins to fade. And slowly, the same person who was once motivated starts making excuses. I will do it tomorrow. I am not in the mood today. I am too tired. I will start properly next week.
And this is where most people lose. Not because they are weak, not because they are incapable, not because they do not have potential. They lose because they depend on a feeling that was never designed to stay forever. Motivation is a spark. Consistency is the fire you keep feeding. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is intentional. Motivation says, I feel like doing it. Consistency says, I will do it because it matters. And that is the difference between people who dream and people who build. The successful are not always the most motivated. They are not always the most talented. They are not always the most confident. But they are usually the most consistent. They show up when it is boring. They show up when it is hard. They show up when nobody is clapping. They show up when the results are still invisible. That is why consistency is so powerful. Because consistency does not ask how you feel. It asks what you are committed to. Anyone can work hard for one day. Anyone can feel inspired after watching a motivational video. Anyone can say they want success when the energy is high. But can you still show up when the excitement is gone? Can you still write one page when nobody reads it yet? Can you still work on your business when nobody believes in it yet? Can you still train when your body is tired? Can you still study when your mind wants comfort? Can you still take one small step when the results are not showing? That is where the 1% mindset begins. Because the 1% understands something most people ignore. Success is not built in one big moment.
It is built in small decisions, repeated every day. One page, one workout, 1 hour of focus, one lesson learned, one product improved, one message sent, one video posted, one better choice, one disciplined decision. Alone, these actions may look small, but repeated over time, they become powerful. Small actions do not look impressive in the beginning. That is why most people quit. They want the big result without respecting the small process. They want the harvest without planting daily seeds. They want confidence before action. They want success before consistency. But life does not work like that. Confidence is built after action. Discipline is built through repetition. Success is built through patience. And your future is built by what you repeat. The problem is, most people underestimate what consistency can do because they are too focused on quick results. They post once and expect growth. They work out for a week and expect transformation. They study for a few days and expect confidence. They start a business and expect money immediately. Then, when the results do not come fast, they think it is not working. But sometimes it is working. It is just working underground, like a seed. When you plant a seed, you do not see the roots growing immediately. But that does not mean nothing is happening. The roots are forming quietly. The foundation is getting stronger.
The growth is preparing itself before it becomes visible. That is how consistency works. At first, nobody notices. At first, it feels slow. At first, it feels like your effort is not making a difference. But if you keep showing up, something starts to change. Your mindset changes. Your habits change. Your confidence changes. Your discipline changes. Your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who only starts. You start becoming someone who continues. That is powerful. Because the moment you become consistent, you begin to trust yourself again. And self-trust is one of the greatest forms of confidence. When you keep promises to yourself, you become stronger. When you do what you said you would do, even when it is hard, your mind begins to believe you. You no longer need to wait for motivation. You become the kind of person who moves with purpose. This is why consistency beats motivation. Motivation makes you feel good for a moment. Consistency changes who you are over time. Motivation gives you energy. Consistency gives you evidence. Motivation starts the dream. Consistency builds the life. And if you want to change your life, you cannot keep living only by emotion. You have to build systems. You have to create routines. You have to simplify the process. You have to make it easier to show up on the days when you do not feel like it. Do not ask yourself, do I feel motivated today? Ask yourself, what is one thing I can still do today? That question changes everything. Because you do not need to fix your whole life in one day. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You do not need to take massive action every single time. You just need to keep moving. Start with one task, one small habit, one clear goal, one focused hour, one decision that moves you forward. Some days, your best will be big. Other days, your best will be small. But even small progress is still progress. Even one step forward is still movement. Even a bad day can still become a disciplined day if you refuse to quit completely. That is what most people do not understand. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about returning to the goal, returning to the work, returning to the habit, returning to the person you said you wanted to become. You will have days where you feel lazy. You will have days where you feel tired. You will have days where you question everything. But the winners are not the people who never struggle. The winners are the people who keep going through the struggle. They do not let one bad day become a bad month. They do not let one mistake destroy their whole journey. They adjust. They learn. They return. They continue. And over time, that consistency becomes their advantage. While others are stopping and starting, they are building.
While others are chasing motivation, they are creating discipline.
While others are looking for the perfect time, they are using the time they already have. This is why the future belongs to consistent people. Because consistent people compound. Their skills compound. Their confidence compounds. Their knowledge compounds. Their discipline compounds. Their results compound. At first, it may look like nothing is happening. Then suddenly, people call you lucky. They say you changed. They say you were different. They say you came out of nowhere. But you know the truth. You did not come out of nowhere. You came from the days nobody saw. The late nights, the early mornings, the silent sacrifices, the small decisions, the moments you wanted to quit but chose to continue. That is where success is built. Not in public, not in applause, not in motivation, but in the quiet repetition of disciplined action. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for motivation to return. You do not need motivation to take the next step. You need a reason strong enough to keep going. You need discipline. You need patience. You need consistency. Because the life you want will not be built by what you do once in a while. It will be built by what you repeat daily. Your future is watching your habits. Your dreams are waiting for your discipline. And your next level is hidden inside the small actions you keep avoiding. So start small. Stay consistent. Keep showing up. Become 1% better every day. Because motivation may help you begin. But consistency is what will change your life.
Subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next message. If this helped you, keep growing with us.